Okay.
All runners
so
here,
we're
we
all
all get
runners.
it.
No, not if you're non-runners, just turn it off right now because this is stuff you're not going to want to hear. So at 85, I get there and there's no water. There was supposed to be water and whatever. It's, it's in the past. But it was a big surprise. So I downed everything I had. So it was a 10 mile. It was 5 out, 5 back with nothing but my handheld, which is not enough. So till I got back, I was still feeling decent when I got to the 90, but I definitely was, getting depleted. So I tried to load it back up and made it from 90 to 94 and a half or whatever this is. And that's when things, like just before I got here, I was still running a good pace. Like I was still dropping sub-8 pace, which is great.
Yeah.
And
It's
I was
crazy.
running fast, but I could tell I was losing it. Like mentally, I was starting to get dizzy and just losing consciousness, like just in and out. And I remember the last couple miles before I got here, just like I just set my goal on that aid station. You can't think past the aid station. You have to think next aid station. Got there, drank quite a bit, and I was zapped from this nutritional hiccup. Realized I needed to hit the Portage on, and I was getting my hopes up. When you're at 94, you think, boy, can I run 100 miles without hitting the Portage on once? Like that's what I did in my time trial. Things were perfect that day. It was nice and cool, but realized I needed to unload some nonsense. So I went in there and I fell over in there. I realized, it was hot that day.
Yeah.
And
Even
inside of
hotter
a Portage
inside?
on, it's about 50 degrees more than the outside. So fell over in there and took care of my business. I get back out and there's this little clue. I don't know if you all know about it, but you can tell when you're dehydrated to where you are almost ready to die. And that's
I don't know if I felt that yet, but okay.
if you take a short break, and it's the color of dirt, then like you better start getting some liquids. So I realized that I was like, winning the race was not a big deal anymore. Like I wanted to win bad, but I realized I could die trying. So I got out and I just told my pacer, I'm like, hey, I'm dehydrated. It ain't looking good. Like I could die here, so I'm not gonna die over it. Like I'm still gonna try. But so I drank a bunch, drank some Coke, and then my brother, my brothers and sisters were there crewing for me, and my brother says, you've got to get out of this aid station. If Olivier catches you in here, you are toast. And so I did. I got my stuff together, and I didn't want his crew to notice what was going on. That's part of winning, is making sure you don't give that guy any clue that he has a chance. So I got out of there, and I can remember running just around the corner, and I, just couldn't run anymore. So I walked, and we walked up around. Once I was out of sight of the aid station, I was like, okay, I can fall apart here because at least they don't know I'm falling apart. And you never know. This is the key. You never know when the guy behind you is falling apart. You never know because he's back there. And I was shocked that he didn't catch me. I went up around the corner and I started walking, and I'm like, Derek, my pacer, I'm like, Derek, my legs will not go. Like I can walk, but I tried and they just would not run. So I'm like, well, let me walk it off a little. And after a quarter mile, half mile, I realized I hadn't left everything at the Portage on. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. This is not good. And I don't know if, obviously, if you're a runner, you've had to do it. But you can't just, do the squat potty style on 94 mile legs. I mean, that just ain't happening. So, and you don't want to add a bunch of distance to your race So you don't want to go further off the trail than you have to or even are able to. And with it being a steep bank and there being a fence there to help me down and back up, I can't get down or up on 95-mile lags. So I helped myself down, and my attitude was good through the whole thing, though.
Yeah.
I was telling jokes the whole time, and that was key to keeping my head in the game. That was the key. But this was the lowest time. So I told, they were taking care of my business, and Derek, poor Derek, he looks at me and he goes, "Boy, Arlen, I'll tell you one thing. If you win this race, this will be one story to tell." And, it was things like that that just kept me in the game.
Yeah.
And I look back and no Olivier, and I'm like, what's going on with him? He hasn't caught me yet. And I know he started 3 minutes behind me, and he's, going to catch up. So to get me out of my roughest time, I got back up, just get on my feet, and here comes our first female around the corner.
Oh.
And I looked over at Derek and I kind of chuckled and I said, "Boy, Derek, we got her done just in time, didn't we?" And
Wow.
He laughs. And then she come around and I forget what she said, but she said something about dumping it all at the end or something about, and Derek, after she got just beyond where she could hear, Derek says, "Boy, if she only knew what you just did." And anyway, so to get me out of the worst part, you asked for the the lowest time. That was the lowest. After that, I couldn't run. Walked a while. Finally, Derek looked at me and he said, "If your head's telling you can't and your legs actually can, at least give it a shot." That's when I decided, as bad as it's going to hurt and as slow as I'm going to run, I started waddling and just bouncing from one foot to the next. Before you know it, I was back to running 8:30s, and that's when I started getting excited about the race again. I realized I could win this race maybe, not knowing if Olivier was getting.
I was going to say,
so,
that question's going to come up in a minute, so I'm going to stop you there.
That's the lowest point. So, Eamon.
I really didn't have a low point. I mean, going in, I was pretty undertrained. I didn't know what to expect. I knew I wanted to get to around 30 to 40, and I thought if I could get there, that would be great. But in the back of my head, I knew there's a little voice saying, "Well, you could just finish, But I got to a little past 50, and my legs were toast. I never had a moment of like bonking nutritionally or nutrition-wise, I guess. It was just like my legs couldn't handle the running anymore. And I said, I'm done. Live to fight another day.
Yeah. So you officially quit around, what, 56, 58? Somewhere around there?
Yeah, 56, 58.
Nice. Still commendable.
Yeah.
Still pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to ask about what memory stands out the most, but I'm going to guess that Arlen's will stand out in all of our heads for a while. Okay, so this part, I want to talk to you guys about this because you said at mile 70, he's coming, you're in the lead, and because of the time difference in the staggered start, what was that like to either have somebody on your heels or to be chasing somebody for 100 miles? I mean, at that point, 30 miles left. What is that like mentally? What are you telling yourself? Like, they're coming for me. I'm still racing them. Like, where are you at?
It really played a part in the beginning on not trying to catch the guys. I like to be within striking distance of the leaders. I'd say the first 70, I'm just sitting back and I'm like, this is great. I have some time on these guys starting in the third wave. After 70, when people started coming up back to me, that was more of just, you got to finish. The competitive side of me didn't really care as much. It was more, I just need to get to that finish line. There were some moments where I really tried, don't let him catch you, just keep myself motivated. But I knew these guys have some experience in racing some really great athletes. There's no shame in getting passed by them. So I just shifted the focus to me, and I guess the time staggered start really didn't affect me towards the end of the race.
Nice. And then, so fast forward to after your a little jaunt in the woods. So you're at what, 95-ish? Now the staggered start really plays a role because, like you said, just who breaks the tape doesn't mean that that's who wins the race. So just walk me through those like last couple of minutes of, you know, getting to the finish line, crossing the finish line, and then afterwards.
Yeah, this moment right here is probably the highlight of my running life. As I, you know, the thought that haunted me was I could lose the race running through the finish line first. And when I realized that Olivier hadn't caught me yet, I said that I started getting excited again, knowing he was probably within that 3 minutes. So I re-strategized, and my pacer was very key. He kept saying, you don't know what Olivier is feeling right now, and you don't know where he's at. So I decided to give it max effort, you know. I decided to hang in there. Got to the last aid station, which is 97-ish, and even with the distance, some of us ended up with like 101. So that, anyhow, I'll get to that later, how that played with my head. But yeah, we got to the last aid station, and I had run a couple miles. I was getting excited. I was pumped about it, and I felt that last 3-something miles was a very reasonable bite to tackle at the end. That, like, if I was feeling good in that aid station, I could run it. Got there, dumped water down my back. I'm getting ready for this last charge. Drank a Coke, and there again, that really got me going. My siblings were there, and they said, don't worry about Olivier. He's like 11 minutes back there. And I'm thinking 11 minus 3. I knew Olivier was starting 3 minutes behind me, and I had a feeling he would be close to my finish. I figured if there was a guy I would get in a battle with, it would be Olivier. So I have in my head he's got 3 minutes, 11 minutes, but minus 3. So we go up the first hill, and I decided, since I had 11, I didn't want to blow the race and just take off all out to the finish line. So I walked up the first hill to let the Coke settle down, get up to the top of the hill, and my pacer got a text message, and they said, Olivier's not as far as we thought. He's only 4 minutes behind.
Yikes.
And this thought that haunted me the entire race started to be so real to me as I realized he had went from, I think I had 17 at one point at like 85 or 90, to where I had 17 minutes minus the 3, to where I had 4 minutes minus 3.
So he was coming, he was charging.
And he was gaining on me. Now remember, he gained most of that when I was in the woods. So, but I thought, in my head, I'm thinking he must be running like 7-minute pace, catching me at the end. Like he must have finally got his last, charge of energy. So I realized at that point, I'm going to have to go an all-out effort, try to win this race. If I blow up, he's going to catch me anyway.
Yeah.
So I decided to risk. That was the point where I was weighing in. Do I risk a blow up, or do I just tame it down? And I was planning to tame it down, but ultramarathons, you have to be ready to re-strategize. And so that's when I went with plan B, which was an all-out from here to the finish line. And my pacer kept reminding me, 1 second here could make a difference whether or not you win. Like he was perfect. He was exactly what I needed. And I ran, there's other races I've said I left it all out there, but honestly, after this, I am convinced I never have left it all out there. Possibly this race, but never before. When you put 13 hours of effort into a race and you haven't raced for months, and it all comes to this one race, and you got the most competitive field you could ever hope for, all geared to this one race, and then the field opens up and you see some light at the end of the tunnel, and you think you maybe got it, and then it comes so close. Like the effort level there was just unbelievable. The amount of weight I felt that propelled me forward. But the course, it's all uphill, the last 3 miles. So I was running as fast as I had all day, only it was all uphill. and on shot legs that legs that could hardly walk of just a few miles before. And I ran, and my legs were just throbbing, just on fire. I mean, like I've never felt leg pain that bad. But it didn't matter. I was getting there. And that's when my pacer says, okay, we're almost there. You got like a quarter mile. So I'm doing this last mile, this last mile effort, which is always all out. And so I'm charging for all that. And I don't know Akron. I had never run through downtown Akron. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing an all-out effort. We get to the finish line, 100 miles. And my watch, I look at my watch, and it says 13:35. And I'm like, and now remember, I don't know Akron. So I'm like, nothing looks like finish line to me. But I'm like, Olivier's got as far as I do. So I just charged for all I was worth, and I decided maybe that wasn't all out, but this next mile, I'm going to go all out. And wouldn't you know, we ended up with 101. Mm-hmm. But I just ran, so it was like a double finish line, all out, a double last mile. After you realize you're almost caught, then you do an all out last mile, and then you have another mile on top of that mile. So the pain in my legs, if I even had any feeling left, was just amazing. So I get up to where all of a sudden I see them standing at the parking lot where they're directing us up in. And that's when I started getting excited, because I said, the finish line can't move now. Yeah. I know where it's at. So I felt the freedom to run just as hard as I could. I get up to where they can talk to me, and they said, don't stop when you get to the turnaround. Go all the way to where you started. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This finish line moved again on me. But by then it didn't matter. A couple hundred yards, what's that? I mean, yeah, it hurt, but anyhow, so I ran through the finish line, and I can remember the cheering was amazing, but as soon as I crossed the finish line, I was just beat. Like I would have hit the ground, but my sister was there to catch me, mm-hmm. and she held me up, and I can remember everything just got dead silent. There was cheering and everything, but it got quiet as soon as I crossed, because everybody knew I hadn't won yet.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had to sit there for the longest 3 minutes of my life. And finally, we counted down. I had looked at the clock. I remember as I rounded that corner, I looked at the clock and I knew exactly to the second when I crossed, because I knew I would need to know that.
Yeah.
And I watched, and when the clock hit that, the cheering was even louder than the first cheering I heard. And it was an amazing feeling to have that. And yeah, when you look at the results, we were, I guess, exactly 8 minutes to the second apart. I guess he must not have been dumping it all at the end like I had thought.
Yeah.
But that's all I needed. To me, it was a side-by-side finish. Mm-hmm. Even though it wasn't in reality that, it felt like it to me, and that's all I needed.
Wow.
So.
Wow. That's a lot to go through after 100 miles.
Yeah.
It's a lot to go through after 4 miles, but okay. That's pretty incredible. And I remember I did get the video of you finishing, because we had some friends there watching everybody. I know you were there watching too. And to get the video, and it was like, oh
basically
my God.
What he just described, that's what unfolded. I was there.
Yeah. That's insane. And to I can't imagine crossing the finish line first, but having to wait those 3 agonizing minutes to make sure that you even won the race, and just hoping that you don't see him around the corner. That's awful. That's an awful feeling, but
it was amazing. And I've always wanted a close 100-mile finish. I haven't had one yet where it was even close. Mm-hmm. I think not even within an hour. And I always wanted that, to know what it would feel like. Not that it would feel good, but just so I know.
Yeah.
And I'll just say,
after
this,
I'd rather know I've got it in the bag.
Yeah. After this whole confusion, in my mind, we were side by side. Mm-hmm. That wasn't reality, but in my mind, we were side by side. And I'll just say, after that happened, I was glad it happened, but it'll be a long time till I want that to happen again.
Yeah, I'm sure. Good Lord. I did have a question from Emily Collins. She's actually one of the race directors. Because of the staggered start and the way that happened, did that change your desire at all from the beginning of the race? So because you weren't starting off in a pack together, do you think that changed your desire from the gun, or was it just you knew?
Not at all. No, it didn't really. I thought it would kind of be more interesting having that staggered start because, you got this element that you encountered at your finish, and you kind of have that the whole race to think about. Well, I don't know, and it's just another element to it, another layer to strategize. So I thought it was kind of cool, if anything.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so some more of the questions that we had actually from the Portage Lakes Running Club had some questions for these guys. So first off, these can be yes or no's or whatever, or you can just laugh and point to them. So Eamon, your first one, and this was from basically everybody, wanted to know, will you ever attempt an ultra marathon again?
Yeah.
I probably will. Definitely train more, run more.
Oh, how about that?
I mean, I had a fantastic crew. Thank you guys. They volunteered last minute. Bethany, Sorrell, Emma, other Bethany, Ben, Joe, or Dominic. And then also I hijacked part of Israel's crew to help me.
I had a dream team.
So,
it was only fair to share.
Thanks to Charles Twigg and his wife Jamie, and Israel's wife who was giving me water when I needed it. So yeah, if I have a crew like that, I'll definitely think about it if I do some training.
Nice. Okay. Allison wants to know if you're aware that you don't have to run 20 miles every morning. That it's okay to just run 5 or 6 miles. They're not going to be mad at you.
Yeah, we've had this conversation before. I just feel like, for me, waking up early, I go meet my friends. Charles Twigg is one of my main running partners in the morning, along with my pacer, Nilesh and Nate. Mm-hmm. It's just my social life, and I love being outside. I feel like when I get that done and I go shower and I start my work day, I've already done whatever I wanted to do for myself. Now I can focus on work, I can focus on the dogs, my wife, just things that need taken care of, and it's kind of like getting the selfishness out of the way early.
I like that. Yeah.
May I add, he's done 20 or 30 miles by usually 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Almost every day.
What time do you start?
Since quarantine, I've been working from home. I stroll in home at like 7:38, but
7:38.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it at night. There's nobody out there, no cars, just me and a couple friends. I'm lucky to live here with people that are just as crazy as me.
Is the sun even up?
Usually, I mean, it depends on the time of year. I love the summer, but in the wintertime, there will be days where I'll be out there for 2.5 hours and no sun.
The very few times I've met Israel, he has a flashlight. So,
yeah.
So most of the time, there's no sun.
I charge that flashlight every single night just in case.
Okay, Arlen. Teresa wanted me to put you on the spot and make you sing a song for us. But I'm not going to do that. But
I got excited.
I know. You do have a CD out, but this is kind of interesting. Your family, you guys do sing. You have a group, and you go around and sing. Real quick, can you tell us what you do?
Okay, yeah. So we started back when I was just a little toddler, and we actually started going into nursing homes and singing for the old people. Mm-hmm. So from there it grew, and we started traveling all over, singing in churches, and we actually ended up where we've done most of our ministry for the last 10 years or so. Most of it has been in prison, actually.
Wow.
So we travel all over the country and singing mostly in prison. Of course, since the virus, we haven't been able to do much. But yeah, that's a little bit that's another side of my story, my life.
Nice.
But yeah.
Do you sing while you're running?
No.
I've run with you before. I've never heard you sing, so maybe next time.
If I run another 100, I'm gonna try to hang with you more
and make him
maybe sing.
That's how you tire him out.
No,
that's how you do it.
Yeah, Nicole. If you hear that, you'll be the first one. So.
Nice. It's a deal. Okay. Eamon, Bethany Searle wanted to know your post 58 out of 100 mile. What was your race treat afterwards?
Right after I dropped out.
Let's just say you stepped off the course.
Yeah, when I stepped off, and I wished Arlen a good race because he had passed me, he was walking, and he was very encouraging. And in my mind, I was like, man, I just want some food and to hang out and enjoy the rest of the day, watch these guys finish. I got a ride back to. We went to our brunch spot.
Yeah.
Town Tavern. I forgot about that. So we went there, and I ordered a beer and a salad, and then I ate that, and then we went back to the finish line, and then I ordered some pizza and another beer.
Okay.
So that was my.
Okay.
The second one really was my race treat.
Okay, I was gonna say the salad is not a treat after 58 miles or however. I don't care.
That's what I'm thinking.
A salad.
Get your vitamins.
Yeah,
I've never.
Got to get your greens.
Yes. Okay, then this is from Lindsay, another one from Portage Lakes Running Club. She wants to know if the three of you will join her and be on her 4-person Burning River 100-mile relay team, because she wants to win another one. She just wants to wear the crown, so it would be you guys, and then she's going to be the last one because she wants to run through the finish line.
You might not get what you got at 100 or the Canal Corridor out of me. I'm damaged right now, so. If you want me to, that's a possibility for sure.
Don't give her any ideas. She will take you up on that.
I'm already spoken for. I'm trying to put together a team as we speak, but we still need 2 other guys. So I might try to recruit these two guys.
I was gonna say it sounds like I'm gonna be able to get out of this one.
Yeah.
So Lindsay, you're on your own. Find somebody else. Okay, so then my last question I have for you guys, I guess you just answered that for Burning River, but what's next? What's next on the agenda? Are there races still, or are you going to do another virtual 100-mile by yourself? Like, what's up?
I'm just looking into it day by day. Like this last week, I'm like, all right, don't run easy. Now I'm looking to, I want to run pain-free, so that's going to be a couple weeks. After that, who knows? I mean, I guess the 100K championship got pushed to November. I don't see that happening. And if it does, I don't know if I want to go through Chicago. So I just want to continue to run out here because we have the national park and everything to enjoy. So that's something to look forward to every day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you'll be on the Burning River team.
Yeah, I guess that's happening too.
Arlen, what's next for you?
For me, I've got a few that I've got my eye on. Not sure yet which one.
He's not telling.
He's not telling. He doesn't.
But I'm looking for something a little low key after Canal Corridor,
Gotcha.
which was great. I wanted every one of them guys to be there, and I was glad they were there. But I'm just looking for something fun. Definitely the 100-mile distance or thereabout. But yeah, I'm ready for something laid back.
Besides Burning River, just continue to train, and just kind of in a sweet spot in training where things are going well, and kind of looking towards the end of the year and maybe next year for things to open back up. And I don't know what direction I'm going race-wise. I'm either going to go towards the ultra stuff, or maybe try to go back on the track. So we'll see how training goes.
Yeah, those are two very far
very
apart.
opposite.
But
Yeah.
That's
With
awesome.
your success in the 10K, it's got to be hard to want to make yourself run 100 miles.
Right.
Yeah, definitely different training. So I have to decide and go one way.
But
Different
you would be
pain.
very unique if you do that.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I've definitely tasted the Kool-Aid. I don't know if I've drank it, but yeah.
Just sipped it for now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, a great field, and thank you, Emily. You put on a phenomenal race, and if I do run another 100, I'll definitely come back and run this one. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
So
I
we have a
agree. Very well
rematch
set
next
up.
year.
Yeah.
This would be good.
Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
one of my other friends is coming, and he's and he's from Pennsylvania, and he ran 100 miles by himself. Tried to beat my time, but he was a minute and a half short. So, and he said he is 2021. He's going to be Canal Corridor. So just heads up, guys.
Okay.
A bigger field than COVID year.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Which would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just glad that a race happened. Like,
oh, yeah.
After that, it was like restrictions, I can, use my own crew. I was just, big thanks to Emily for being brave and making it happen. It was great. I mean, the way the race was put on, to me, it was as good as any race I've ever run, and yet they did it in the midst of mountains of challenges.
It did not feel like there was anything restricting us, really. I mean, it felt like a normal race as soon as we got out there and started doing everything.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for coming here and talking to us and letting
Thanks
everybody.
for having us.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was awesome. This kind of gives everybody a glimpse of what it's like to run 100 miles, if you ever decide to do that. And then these are local running guys. You'll see them all the time. They're on the towpath. They're at Sand Run. They run with our group all the time. They'll run your pace. Doesn't matter. So if you see them out there, say hi, because you saw this video. Stop them. Ask them questions. Ask Arlen about mile 95. That'll be fun. All right. Thank you, guys. Next time.
Bye, everyone.